Every personal finance creator in India will tell you SIP is better for beginners. Some will tell you lump sum wins if you have the conviction. Almost none of them will show you the actual numbers from actual crashes. So that's what this video is. No opinions, no general advice, just 3 real market crashes, the exact rupee outcomes for each strategy, and at the end, a framework that tells you which one is right for your specific situation right now. Let's start with the crash that broke the most investors in Indian history. January 2008. Nifty is at 6,357, all-time high. Markets have been running hot for years. Let's say you have 2 investors, Priya and Rahul. Both have 120,000 rupees to invest. Priya puts all 120,000 rupees in as a lump sum on January 1st, 2008. Rahul splits his 120,000 rupees into 10,000 rupee monthly SIPs starting the same day. By October 2008, 9 months later, the Nifty has collapsed to 2,253, a 65% crash, the worst drawdown in Nifty's history. Priya's 120,000 rupees is now worth approximately 42,000 rupees. She has lost more than half her money in under a year. She hasn't sold, she's just watching her screen and feeling sick. Rahul is also down, but here's the difference. Every month that the market kept falling, Rahul's 10,000 rupees was buying more and more Nifty units at cheaper and cheaper prices. In January 2008, at 6,357, 10,000 rupees was buying relatively few units. By October 2008, at 2,253, the same 10,000 rupees was buying nearly 3 times as many units. He was accumulating the crash without even trying. Now, here's the number most people don't know. Rahul's SIP started at literally the worst possible month in modern Indian market history, broke even in just 18 months, by mid-2009, while Priya's lump sum was still deeply underwater. And here's why that happened so fast. On May 18, 2009, following a surprise election result, the Nifty surged over 17% in a single trading day. A single day. All those units Rahul had been accumulating at rock-bottom prices suddenly jumped in value together. That one day did more for his portfolio than years of normal returns would have. Priya's lump sum eventually recovered too, but it took her nearly 6 years from the trough to get back to even. 6 years of watching an investment go nowhere, with every passing month testing whether she'd sell or stay. Round 1 goes to SIP, and it's not close. Now let's go to 2020 and watch the answer flip completely. If this video is convincing you that it's finally time to start investing, but you still don't have a Zerodha account, I've made it easy for you. The Zerodha account opening link is in the description below. I'm a registered Zerodha authorized person, so from opening your account to getting started with investing, my team and I will personally help you throughout the entire process. And if you already have a Zerodha account, there's good news. If you're eligible under Zerodha's current referral program, you can earn a 10% referral benefit by inviting your friends. If you're not sure how the process works, simply register using the link below. We'll guide you step by step, explain everything, and help you understand how to get started with the referral process. March 23, 2020. Nifty has just crashed 40% in 69 days, the fastest crash in its history. The index is sitting at 7,511. The world is in lockdown. Every headline is catastrophic. Nobody knows when this ends. Same 2 investors. Priya has 120,000 rupees. She puts it all in as a lump sum on March 23, 2020, right at the bottom. Rahul starts his $10,000 monthly SIP on the same day. By March 2021, 1 year later, Nifty has nearly doubled from that bottom. Priya's 120,000 rupees is now worth approximately 228,000 rupees, a 90% return in 12 months. By early 2025, the Nifty crossed 25,000, more than 3 times the March 2020 bottom. Priya's original 120,000 rupees has grown to roughly 4 lakh. What about Rahul's SIP? He also did well, but here's the mathematical problem with SIP at a market bottom. His first $10,000 invested in March 2020 tripled. His second $10,000 invested in April 2020, when markets had already bounced, made less. His third installment, even less. Every month the market recovered, his new money was buying fewer units at higher prices. The SIP was designed for uncertainty, but Rahul deployed it into a moment that, in hindsight, had no uncertainty at all. The market was at a generational low, and it was going to recover. Round 2 goes to lump sum, by a mile. But here's the catch that makes round 2 completely useless as financial advice. Nobody knew March 23, 2020 was the bottom while they were in it. The people who put lump sums in on March 23, 2020 did so while the news was telling them things were still getting worse. Most investors who had lump sums ready in March 2020 did not deploy them. They waited, they watched, they waited more. By the time the market had clearly recovered, it was already up 30 to 40% from the bottom, and the lump sum advantage had mostly evaporated. Now the 2022 correction, which is the scenario most relevant to investors today because it's the one that actually looks like normal market conditions.
October 2021 to June 2022. Nifty falls roughly 17% from peak. Not a crash, a correction. Uncomfortable but not catastrophic. Markets grind lower for months with no single dramatic bottom moment. In this scenario, the data is clear. Monthly SIP outperformed lump sum invested at the year's 52-week high in every single year across every time horizon tested on 20 years of Nifty data. A 17% correction spread over months is exactly the environment SIP was built for. Rahul's SIP is averaging down automatically across multiple months without him making a single decision. Priya's lump sum is sitting at one entry point, either underwater or flat, depending on exactly when she deployed it. Round 3, SIP wins again, not dramatically, but consistently. So here's what 3 crashes actually tell us. Lump sum wins if you invest at the bottom. SIP wins if you invest at the peak or during a slow grind lower. The problem is, you never know which one you're in until after the fact. This is why the question SIP or lump sum is actually the wrong question. The right question is, what is your money's current situation? Here's the decision framework. 4 questions. Answer them honestly, and the choice makes itself. Question 1. How did the money arrive? If it arrives monthly, salary, freelance income, rent, the choice is already made. SIP. You don't have a lump sum to debate. You have regular income, and it goes in regularly. If you have a windfall, a bonus, an inheritance, a property sale, an FD that matured, that's when the lump sum debate becomes real. Question 2. Where is the market right now? If Nifty is within 10% of its all-time high, which, based on 20 years of data, it is for roughly 2/3 of all trading days, deploying a large lump sum here means you're accepting peak or near-peak entry risk. The data says that's not catastrophic over 10 years. The probability of a negative 5-year CAGR from any entry point on the Nifty over the past 20 years is just 1.1%. But it does mean a potentially long wait if a correction follows your entry. If the market has already corrected 20% or more from its recent high, which happens roughly once every 4 years, the lump sum case gets mathematically stronger. You're buying at a discount, and the recovery, historically, follows within months to years, not decades. Question 3. How long is your horizon? If you're investing for less than 5 years, lump sum entry risk is real and meaningful. A crash early in a short investment window can permanently hurt your outcome. SIP's averaging effect matters more here. If your horizon is 10 years or more, the entry point matters less and less. At 12% CAGR, Nifty's approximate 20-year average, money doubles roughly every 6 years. Whether you entered at the peak or 6 months before the bottom becomes almost irrelevant at the 15 or 20-year mark.
Question 4. What would you actually do if your portfolio fell 40% the week after you invested? This is the question nobody asks honestly. If the truthful answer is, I would probably panic and sell, then lump sum is wrong for you, regardless of what the math says. An investment strategy only works if you can stay in it. An SIP that you continue through a crash is worth more than a lump sum that you liquidate at the bottom. Here's how to combine the answers. Monthly income, any market level, any horizon, SIP automatically, no decision needed. Windfall, market at or near all-time highs, horizon under 5 years, don't deploy all at once. Use an STP, a systematic transfer plan. Park the money in a liquid fund and move a fixed amount into equity every month for 6 to 12 months. You get lump sum capital working immediately and SIP-style averaging on the equity side. Windfall, market already down 20 to 30%, long horizon, strong stomach, the data historically supports deploying more aggressively, not all at once necessarily, but faster than a standard SIP pace. The honest answer to the SIP versus lump sum debate is that SIP wins by default, not because it always produces the highest returns, but because it removes the one variable that destroys most investors, the decision of when to enter. The lump sum investor who got it right in March 2020 made exceptional returns. The lump sum investor who entered in January 2008 broke even in 18 months and never had to time anything. Most people don't have the information, the nerve, or the luck to be PRIA in March 2020, which means for most people, most of the time, SIP is not the conservative choice. It's actually the aggressive one, because it keeps you in the market through every crash, buying more when everything feels worst without asking you to make a single correct decision about timing. The creators who tell you SIP is safer for beginners aren't wrong. They just stopped the explanation 3 steps too early.